What's up, guys? It's your boy Chris C. Pups, where I bring you another edition of the Car Concierge Show. The show that helps you with the buying, selling, maintaining, and repairing of all of your vehicles. On today's show, we're going to check out a young cat who is tearing up his hometown streets with his Hellcat. We're also going to head over to Honda and check out their new recalls that just came out recently. And last but not least, we're going to do our normal trope and check out a massive layoff situation over at the Lithia company. So, first off, we're going to check out a little story about a young man who has a very nice, very modified Hellcat, and he seems to be tearing up the streets of Belltown. It's my first reaction to this was that, well, let's check it out first, and then I'll get reactions afterwards.
Day after day, month after month, Seattle police try to get Miles Hudson to knock it off.
Like, remember when we talked last time? Do you remember? Last time you got pulled over in Seattle.
But the Belltown Hellcat continues its reckless run. The 20-year-old wannabe speed racer is accused of tearing up downtown Seattle roads at more than 100 miles per hour. And blasting his engine at 2 o'clock in the morning, all in his souped-up Dodge Charger Hellcat, valued at close to $100,000, considering the base cost and all the mods installed. I reached out to several of the car mod companies Hudson has linked on his Instagram. Their thoughts on the Hellcat driver are mixed. One local business told me Hudson is one of their favorite customers. Another company, who makes software for race cars, tells me they had no idea they were being connected to Hudson's alleged shenanigans. The company said they're going to try to distance themselves from the Belltown Hellcat fast. But the big question is, after months of complaints, tickets, and reports, why is this still a problem? Technically, Hudson is no longer behind the wheel. The city got him with 2 reckless driving charges. Yet his videos keep popping up. That's because Hudson now rides shotgun, while his other cohorts take the wheel. In mid-May, Hudson's mom emailed the city saying they're trying to get the car up to compliance, and Hudson no longer has the car in his possession. But just last week, a new video went up on Hudson's Instagram showing someone wearing a mask whipping the car around intersections. On Friday, the city ran out of patience. In this letter Fox 13 News obtained, it says Seattle City Attorney Ann Davison requests a default judgment against Hudson. Court docs say he would be on the hook for upward of $83,000 for all of the fines.
He said he's not quitting anytime soon. His social media following is paid for his car.
Hudson is expected in court later this month.
He said that? Yeah, he said, I got 700,000 followers, man. I'm making a career out of this.
Reporting in Seattle, AJ Janabel, Fox 13 News.
All right, shout out to Seattle. All right, my friends. So I have mixed feelings about this story. When I first was given wind of the story, my first thought was that I was told about the fines first. I was told that he's being fined $83,000, and my first inclination was that if they're fining him excessively because what he's doing and these are not the normal fines, then I would have a problem with that. It seems that they've taken it to court, so they made it more of a criminal situation than it standardly is than a traffic situation, which I'm having mixed feelings about. It seems to be strictly traffic things. But I also read a report where he was saying it was simply because he was black. I don't believe that's the truth. Of course, that's not true, because he is committing crimes. He knows he's committing crimes. He's benefiting off it. He already stated that he was a content creator. He stated that his subscribers or followers on Instagram or YouTube or whatever social media platform he uses has already paid for the vehicle. So, I think I believe that you should be following the law. I realize that he's using this to make some sort of living You know, the future wave, content creation, everybody's using it to make a living. It's not uncommon, but of course, you just can't break the law. So, you know, in the beginning, I was going to say they're targeting my guy, but after watching that video and hearing what he said, you know, he's making a living out of committing a crime, which is a problem in itself. I hate that they tried to go after his, you know, sponsors or people that have been helping him with the creation of his vehicle. It's you gotta obey the laws, guys. You know, and I feel like a hypocrite saying that because I've spent a decent amount of time being on the other side of the law, but I realize that, you know, being on the right side of the law helps your life in tremendous ways. Doesn't put other people in jeopardy because, you know, driving at high speeds, you put other people in jeopardy. And that's always a bit of a problem for me, more than anything else. Even if it's not him driving the vehicle, if his friends driving the vehicle, they're putting people in jeopardy. And that's the problem. That's the major problem. And that's what needs to be stopped. So, and where's the dad at? Why is the mom writing a letter to the whoever and not the dad? Story for another day. All right, my friends. So next up, we're gonna head over to Honda, who had to make some recalls for one of their vehicles, the Honda Fits. And we talk about recalls on here a lot because, like I say, pretty much every vehicle, no, not pretty much, every vehicle has a recall. Every vehicle, specifically now, specifically now, every vehicle has a recall. It's inevitable because of the way that they are researched and developed, the way these vehicles are designed, the speed that they're taking, or the lack of time that they're taking in the design of these vehicles is going to be cause for recalls. So let us not be surprised by that. But we're going to watch it first. We're going to watch a quick video about a recall. Not the same one, but we're going to watch a quick video and then I'll read the newest recall for Honda.
Hundreds of Honda owners say their back windshield shattered spontaneously, and the automaker hasn't accepted responsibility.
And on your sides, Christine Lazar spoke with a local woman whose children were in the back seat when that glass came raining down on them. This is crazy.
Yeah, thankfully no one was injured. We now have tempered glass, but you can only imagine you're driving down a busy road or even on the freeway going 60 miles an hour. This happens. You know, at some point, people are worried that someone will swerve or be so scared that they'll get into an accident. And I actually went on NHTSA's website just now before I came on air. I've been hand counting all the complaints coming in. I had counted them up till the first of the year. Now there's like another 40 just in the first 11 days of the year. So the woman I spoke with says Honda told her that her extended warranty didn't cover that shattered glass, even though there are now more than 250 complaints, actually probably closer to 300 now, to the federal government since March of last year, from Honda HR-V owners saying their back windshield shattered without any sort of impact.
All of a sudden, I look through the rearview mirror and I see a hole.
These are photos that Myrna Lua snapped of the rear windshield of her Honda HR-V that was less than a year old. The glass shattered for no apparent reason.
I heard the loud pop. My daughter started screaming. She was sitting in the back.
Myrna was confused and disoriented.
I panicked. I slowed down. I immediately merged over.
Another driver saw what happened and pulled over.
And he asked me, "Are you okay?" And I told him, "Did you see what hit my car?" And he was shocked and he said, "No, I didn't see anything hit your car."
And Myrna isn't the only HR-V driver this has apparently happened to. On the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's website, there are more than 300 complaints from HR-V owners saying their rear windshield shattered without any impact. This person said the rear windshield exploded. Another said they were driving 60 miles per hour when it happened. Drivers claim they panicked This person wrote that the windshield exploded over their head and that they then had to pay their $500 insurance deductible to get it fixed because Honda wouldn't cover it. Myrna contacted us after she says Honda told her that her shattered windshield wouldn't be covered by her extended warranty.
I've owned a Honda for 18 years, and I waited 19 years to purchase a new car. And when I did, I went with something I trusted, which was Honda. And now my trust is gone.
Back in October, a class action lawsuit was filed on behalf of 6 HRV owners. Sergey Lemberg is their attorney.
The lawsuit alleges that the vehicles that Honda manufactured have defective rear windshields that pop and break and crack at random.
And what has Honda's response been to your lawsuit?
They moved to dismiss. This morning, they filed a motion saying there's no cause of action.
But Honda did acknowledge the volume of complaints once we pressed them, sending us a statement that reads in part, Honda will be initiating a voluntary product update campaign related to this issue and is working to secure the needed replacement parts as soon as possible. We estimate that this campaign will begin in April or May. In that statement, Honda says the rear glass may weaken over time when the defroster is used.
What do you think of Honda's statement to this?
They know there's a problem. They sold defective cars. And they're trying to ameliorate it now that they've been sued, now that there is press attention to it.
Michael Brooks with the Center for Auto Safety says Honda should take it a step further and consider a safety recall. Brooks says for every one NHTSA complaint, there are typically about 5 occurrences. Based on that, he believes
the number of complaints or the number of times that owners have seen their window shatters is approaching or over 1,000 already. And that's just one model year where they sold, around a little over 100,000 of these vehicles. So it's it's happening in 1 out of every 100 cars.
Now, Honda told us that any HRV owner who has a shattered rear window should contact their nearest authorized dealer or Honda customer service to arrange a repair. And they also agreed to fix Myrna's rear windshield free of charge. And I will say, in all of stories that I do like this, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So if you are a consumer and you feel like something has happened to your car or any of your property that is not your fault, make noise, and usually, eventually, especially if you get media coverage or an attorney, then the automaker or company will start to listen.
And usually you're not the only one, right? If there's an issue like that.
And that's what happened with Myrna. She Googled and said, hey, I guess I'm not alone. I better contact the news. That's how I found out about it. And, as I can see online, there are more and more complaints coming in. So it's certainly not a problem that's going away.
Yeah, such a scary thing to have happen. So glad they're okay and moving forward.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Christine.
All right, so that was just meant to show some of the dangers that you experience when you're dealing with these recalls. And there are a lot of recalls to be a lot worse than that. There's one of the major recalls was a stop lamp switch for a lot of Hyundai vehicles, where if you pushed on the brake, your lamps in the back wouldn't turn on, so the people behind you didn't know you were braking. Airbag recalls are major situations. And we're going to read about a new recall that just came out recently for Honda. All right, so we're going to check out automotive news. You all know I always go to them for my latest information about the automotive industry. So, Honda recalls nearly 138,000 Fit and HRV vehicles over a faulty rear view camera image. The rear view camera image may not display when the car started with the ignition key. June 5th. So this article is from today, written by Riley Hodder. Honda Motor Company is recalling nearly 138,000 Fit and HRV vehicles in the U.S. and Canada because of an issue with the rearview camera image not displaying when the car started. The recall covers 2018 to 2020 Honda Fit and 2019 to 2022 Honda HRV vehicles. About 115,000 of the vehicles are in the U.S. There have been no reports of injuries or deaths related to this issue. The power circuit in the display audio unit of the vehicles was faultily designed, NHTSA said. When an impacted vehicle is started with the ignition key, the cranking may cause the battery state of charge to drop. This then prevents the display image from booting up. A lack of rear view camera image may result in limited vision for drivers, which could lead to crash or injury. Affected vehicles can be fixed using updated software that will reprogram the display audio unit with the proper boot up procedure. Registered owners can take their vehicle to an authorized Honda dealership for the software. Owner notification letters are expected to be sent prior to July 8th. These vehicles were previously recalled in February 2023. The initial software update used to remedy the issue was insufficient, and the vehicles continue to experience issues with their rear view camera image. All right. So like I'm saying, and I say this a lot, I know I say it a lot, do not be the guinea pig. Do not go out and buy a 2024 nothing or 20. You do not want to be the first person to drive a vehicle. Unless you're just rich and it's like that. If you got money like that and you don't mind, being the guinea pig and you don't mind having to take the vehicle back to the dealership to get repaired, fine. Get you a brand new vehicle. But I always say the best thing to do would be to wait at least a year. And look at this. These vehicles back from 2019, 2022. So they came up with the fix for this problem and the fix wasn't good enough. So they had to come up with another fix. So that in itself tells you that you could have a car that's 2-3 years newer and still have recalls that need to be done. It's just a different state for research and development when it comes to these vehicles. And you cannot blame the automaker. The automaker has to get these vehicles out as fast as they can to compete with the other guys. It has to happen. They have to force it. They have to get out the best quality vehicle they can. They got to do as best research and development as they can, but they have to get it out quickly. And this is what happens. It's not like in the olden days when people weren't expecting to get cars, or a car was such a luxury that people rarely bought them. So automakers had the time to do the research and development and figure out what was wrong and how things could be fixed. We live in a different world. We live in a microwavable world, and to some degree it's a detriment. To some degree it's a major detriment. All right. So, last but not least, and of course I hate that it's been a weekly occurrence, definitely a weekly occurrence, but more layoffs, my friends, more layoffs. Let's check it out. All right, of course, automotive news. I love it. Lithia cuts jobs in Q2 hunt for 150 million in annual employee savings. Jordan Jaramillo, Lithia Senior Director of Finance, called the Q2 staff cuts very targeted and more focused on the U.S. than the UK. Damn. And of course, this is from today. John Huter is our writer. So, excuse me. Lithia Motors Inc. seeks to produce an annual savings of $150 million through layoffs and other employee cost savings this quarter. A representative of the dealership group confirmed this week. Jordan Jaramillo, Senior Director of Finance for the nation's largest auto dealership group, called the cuts more centered around U.S. positions rather than United Kingdom's jobs, despite Lithia's work to trim down its new UK network. He described the layoffs as very targeted rather than an across-the-board percentage reduction of all Lithia positions. We're announcing a mass layoff, he told Automotive News on Tuesday. Jaramillo called the elimination of $150 million in personal costs part of Lithia's desire to eliminate $250 million in selling, general and administrative expenses on an annualized basis. Other savings would arise from cutting inventory and related floor plan and carrying costs and from reducing the amount spent with third-party service providers, he said. Lithia's layoffs will also include leadership changes though nothing among senior vice presidential or C-suite executive ranks, Jaramillo said. So, nobody at the top is going. These are changes at the store level, he said, giving examples including taking action on underperforming general managers. Jaramillo called Lithia's moves part of a 60-day plan launched at the start of May and wrapping up this quarter. It should begin to affect Lithia's results probably in a meaningful way during the third quarter, he said. The layoffs and other cost-cutting plans were discussed during a J.P. Morgan and Chase fireside chat Monday with Jaramillo and Lithia CEO Brian DeBoer, according to a Tuesday report by analysts at the investment banking firm. Management's tone suggested a sense of urgency to make swift changes in the near term, the J.P. Morgan analyst wrote. They called to $150 million in personal savings, about 6% of Lithia's annual staff expense based on first quarter employee costs. Lithia's second quarter job cuts include 6 members of a 13-person internal communications team, according to a member of that team who was let go Friday and who asked not to be identified. They just want more profits and fewer people, said the former communications worker, whose husband was part of a September 23 layoff of 58 employees at Lithia's online vehicle shopping platform Driveway. Jaramillo said the Driveway cuts last year represented Lithia's shift from building to maintaining the site. We're in that sustaining the platform period, he said, specifically around developers and software engineers. We think we're where we need to be. Lithia cut Driveway's cash burn rate about 50% year over year during the first quarter on the back of reduced personal and marketing spend, the J.P. Morgan analyst wrote, calling both expense categories down about 40% in the first quarter. The analyst said Lithia is also refocusing initiatives geared towards improving store-wide adoption of Driveway, with management acknowledging that a lack of push from store GMs and minimal initiative from used car sales managers likely led to muted platform uptake within the company, and management is accordingly starting to make personal leadership changes needed to advance company strategy. Lithia of Medford, Oregon ranks number 1 on Automotive News list of top 150 dealership groups based in the U.S., with retail sales of 314,116 new vehicles in 2023. All right, so first I'm going to start off by saying that I'm not a big fan of Lithia. Their hiring practices are horrible. I'm not going to say they're racist, but their hiring practices do tend to put an emphasis on the color of your skin and your gender. That's just personal experience. But what this story is telling us is that old situation where they bring in some financial analysts into the company to figure out the best way to save money, and they decided that this analyst decided the best way for them to save money was to cut $150 million from their employee stash. So, another situation where a whole bunch of people are going to lose their jobs because some pencil pusher came in and with his calculator deduced that to really save money, this is the way to go. Now here's the thing. If you really read into the story, you see that they are saying that they're going to be getting rid of general managers and the sales managers of used cars because they didn't push Driveway. And Driveway is something like my company, whereas you can get vehicles without going into the dealership. That's what Driveway is. And of course, they cut a lot of their employees at Driveway because Driveway wasn't selling anything, because they're saying that the general managers at their other companies wasn't pushing Driveway because the general managers from the other companies don't want to push Driveway, because if they push Driveway, then the people are going to go online for their cars and not come into the dealership. And if they get the people to go online to buy their vehicles and they don't come into the dealership, who is that going to affect? The general managers at the dealerships. They need more people coming into the dealership, not less. So it is not unfounded or not. It's not a surprise that these general managers and these used car managers are not pushing driveway. It's against against them. It's against what they need to happen. If they push driveway, then they're going to lose customers. Why would they want to do that? It doesn't make sense. And what you're saying in this article is that you're going to fire those people because they didn't push driveway, and so since they didn't push driveway, you had to already fire people from driveway. The automotive industry, my friends, is in a shambles. And I hate Lithia. I do. I've seen some horrible things that they've done to some of my friends. And I've never worked for them, I don't think. But I know that they've done some horrible things to my friends. And they're not a great company. But this is just proof that it's not about people anymore. It's about something else. I mean, it's we've seen it. Office Space, all of our good movies where they bring in some financial analyst, some group of guys to fire off everybody and to make it seem like it's a good idea. It's never a good idea for a person to lose their job. It's horrible. I know it's inevitable and it's factual and in some cases, not all and not most, but in some cases it's a necessity. And I was going to show, matter of fact, I think I'm going to still show you this. Well, no, we don't have time today, but I was reading another story today about a tire changing machine. A tire changing machine that would change 4 tires in like 30 seconds or something. I need to read the article again. So, and what is that? That we're going to lay off the general managers because they're not pushing you to buy your vehicles online. And we're going to get rid of simple text, tire text, and the like by replacing them with machines. Some more jobs lost. Guys, it's going to just get harder and harder in this automotive industry. And I can't get out. I mean, I've branched out, and of course I own several companies, but I always have my foot in the automotive industry, no matter what. And it's getting harder and harder to maintain. I remember back in the days, getting into the Ford factory was the goal for many people. The goal. They paid so well as the comparison to everybody else. The people who worked in the Ford factory lived so well. They all had big houses that they was buying. They all had nice cars. It's not like that anymore. I digress, my friends. So, this is your boy Chris C. Pups Rod. I'm going to let you guys get up out of here. We do plan to do another show on Friday, and then, of course, our standard weekend review on Sunday. So, please like, subscribe. Let your friends know. I think we're doing good things over here, but we're going to get better and better. Peace.